Welcome to Shortify.ing, your native URL shortener solution for Salesforce Marketplace. We appreciate you choosing us for your URL shortening needs. In this installation guide, we'll walk you through three main sections. Firstly, we'll cover prerequisites. Secondly, we'll dive into the actual installation process. And lastly, we'll discuss steps specifically for those migrating from the previous version. Let's start with the prerequisites. 1. Install Shortify from the Salesforce APEX. You can find the URL in the description or visit http://cfus.in/apexchange. 2. Set up an organization-wide email address. This allows Shortify to send emails to users when creating bulk short URLs, enabling up to 10K short URLs in a minute. 3. Consider setting up a custom domain, optional but recommended for production. This helps reduce the length of your short URLs to 12 to 15 characters long. Click on the Quick Find box and search for Site option. Click on the site link, and if you don't have an existing site, we'll create a new one. In this demonstration, I'll guide you through the process of creating a new site. Click on the New button, and name your site as Shortify URL Shortener or choose a name that makes sense to you. Navigate to the active site home page, search for Home, and select xu.home. If you already have a configured site, you can skip this step. Move on to the section URL Rewriter class, and search for Default URL, and choose xu.default URL Rewriter. This step is crucial for functionality. If you're working with an existing site that has a pre-existing URL Rewriter class, consider transferring to a Salesforce site without this configuration. Shortify.ing will not work. Finish by clicking the Save button. Next, head to the Site Visualforce page and click on the Edit button. Choose the pages xu.error and xu.r, then click the Move to the Right button. Save your changes. With all the Shortify settings in place, it's time to activate your Salesforce site. This step is optional. If you're setting up Shortify on a sandbox or development org, feel free to skip it for now. However, if you're installing it for production, we strongly advise following these steps. Keep in mind, while this step isn't mandatory for functionality, it's necessary to ensure that short links are approximately 12 to 15 characters long. Begin the process by acquiring a concise domain for your brand. For instance, if your website's domain or URL is http://customerfoster.com, opt for a short domain like http://cfsu.in, Customer Foster Shortening URL in, for all your shortened links. Once you have secured your short domain, navigate to your Salesforce org settings and copy your Salesforce site URL, as illustrated on the screen. Proceed to your domain service provider, such as GoDaddy.com or others, for the path forwarding configurations, as detailed on the screen. Now, log into the Shortify application, access the Configurations tab, and update the base URL field with your short URL. If a custom domain is unavailable, utilize your Salesforce site URL as the base URL, ensuring to append /r/ to the site URL, following the on-screen instructions. With these steps completed, your new short domain is ready to kickstart your Shortify journey. For further assistance, don't hesitate to contact our support team via email at support@customerfoster.com. Navigate to the Shortify.ing configuration page. If you've already linked your Salesforce site URL with a custom short domain, utilize that. Otherwise, employ your Salesforce site URL with /r/ as the suffix. In our case, it is http://customerfoster.my.salesforce-site.com, so we'll use http://customerfoster.my.salesforce-site.com/r/ as the base URL. Clicks on the checkbox icon to save setting. Your base URL must end with /. Next, click on the edit icon for org-wide email and locate the verified org-wide email ID. In our case, it is Customer Foster Support. Choose the same and click on the checkbox icon to save setting. These two are the essential settings needed for Shortify.ing. Other configurations are optional and depend on specific use cases. For instance, enable the Community Plus setting if you want Salesforce community users to utilize the Shortify.ing solution. Activate the REST service if you intend to use REST service for creating short URLs. If you don't find any specific configuration, it may be disabled due to the selected license. These steps are applicable for those upgrading from version 1.3 to 1.4. If you're first time installing Shortify.ing, you can skip this section. 1. Adjust the sharing settings for fsu.url__c from public read-only to private. 2. Remove the sharing rule created for Shortify site guest users. 3. Remove the Shortify guest user permission set from the site guest user. If you need a refresher on the previous installation steps, check out the tutorial link in the description below. Thanks again for choosing Shortify.ing.